Are indoors once again. Game 2 of this 3-game series in league play against the Cincinnati Reds. Joey Votto back home here in Toronto. Let's take a look at the lineup for Brian Price's Cincinnati Reds. They're 2 games under 500. Batting second, Zack Cozart. He was a DH last night. He's a shortstop. He has reached base in 21 straight games and got a .418 on-base percentage. And Joey Votto, he has the most at-bats for the Reds against Jay Happ, including 4 doubles and 3 RBIs. Good to see Jay Happ back. This is his first start since April 16th. First pitch of the game misses down and in for ball 1, and we are underway. Billy Hamilton, the speedy center fielder, is a switch hitter. He had a bunt single and came around to score in the first inning in last night's game. Hits this one in the air. Bautista is there. 1 up, 1 down.
Well, you mentioned it's the return of Jay Happ. He makes his return from the disabled list today. He hasn't pitched since that April 16 game when he left his start versus Baltimore in the 5th inning because of inflammation in his elbow. He made 1 rehab start. He limited to 75 pitches about tonight, but he had that 1 rehab start through 56 pitches down there. Said he is fine. This is his 4th start of the season. Jay had a throwing session on Sunday. Said he came out of that, said he felt fine. It was after the ball game Sunday afternoon. Says my arm feels fine. There's no residue from that. Pete Walker was saying today that he likes everything he saw from Jay on Sunday.
Jay will probably take some time to really get his command. You can see the velocity's okay, 92, 93. That's his regular velocity on his fastball, but he's a command guy. And it'll probably take a start or 2 before he really gets zeroed in with that.
And that's all about arm strength, getting a feel for just reaching out and not worrying about being injured. He doesn't have that right now. Said he came out of that throwing side session that he was fine, healthy, no questions.
Zack Cozart bounces that breaking ball foul. It's 2-2 to the shortstop. Cozart hitting .344. 13 doubles, 4 triples, and 5 homers. This is a very good hitting lineup. You can see his last 12 games. He had his hit streak snap last night. An 11-game hit streak come to an end. This ball is drilled to center. Pilar is back looking up. This ball is gone. Zack Cozart hits his 6th home run of the season. This is a very powerful hitting ball club. They had a home run in last night's game. They have homered in 11 straight games now.
This is a team with the middle of the lineup. Again, they took the lead in last night's ball game 1-0 in the first inning. They did it on the legs of Billy Hamilton last night. They do it on the bat of Zack Cozart tonight. Fastball down the middle. He goes down and gets that one head down and drills it to center field for the run.
Joey Votto hits one deep to center, and this one's going to go back-to-back pitches. And the Reds have hit back-to-back home runs. We mentioned that Votto had good numbers against Jay Happ, and Joey connects for his 13th home run of the season. Back-to-back home runs for Cincinnati.
This is a team, you mentioned the power of the Reds. The only team in major leagues with at least 4 players with at least 10 home runs. Joey Votto being one of them. That's number 13.
Joey Votto, born and raised here in Toronto, and sure has a lot of friends and family in attendance, and he hits a home run here in basically his home ballpark. He has played here twice in the WBC for Canada. Happ throws the curveball in there for a strike.
Again, choking up, but he can really cover a baseball and jump all over that one. When he was a younger player, he had a higher leg kick. Now he's spread out just a little bit more, and that bat can fly through the zone.
Zack Cozart and Joey Votto go back-to-back here in the top of the first. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. Adam Duvall hit a home run in the 6th inning last night. The 2nd run for Cincinnati, and of course it was a laugher for the Blue Jays. They won 17-2. Marcus Stroman won for the 5th straight time.
This is a team that hit 5 home runs the day before they came here to Rogers Center to play the Blue Jays. Shows you how strong Marcus and the rest of the pitching staff was last night, giving up just that 1 home run.
Marcus is 6-2 now. He's on the leaderboard for wins in the American League, and as we mentioned, he's won 5 straight decisions. Marcus went 6 innings, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 5, picking up that W last night. Up the middle, Travis behind second base, gathers and fires to first in time. 2 away. Take a look at the Blue Jays defensively. They set up just like they did last night. Carrera, Pilar, and Bautista in the outfield. Donaldson and Tulowitzki on the left side. Travis and Smoke on the right side. Russell Martin back behind the plate.
Kevin Pilar made another great catch in last night's game. We got a fly ball pitcher again today, and Jay Happ. Pilar's played the 2nd most innings in center field in the American League, behind Kevin Kiermaier. But he was telling me about that catch. He said, I really didn't have time to get back there. I knew I was going to take a beating when I ran into that fence, but another great catch by Pilar.
Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, takes a curveball for a strike. Looked like another good pitch there. Happ starting to get zeroed in on his location. Suarez, 10 home runs. He's one of 4 Reds to have 10 or more home runs this season. Votto hitting his 13th. Those 4 have combined hit 52 home runs. They have been productive.
That's more than 5 teams in the major leagues. Those guys you just mentioned. It's good middle of the lineup. A lot of power.
Scoring runs has not been a problem for this team. It's preventing runs that's been the biggest problem, and the starting pitching staff has been cut down by injuries, and they just haven't been able to perform. The fill-in starters, as they are going to have another one of those tonight, just haven't been able to keep the opponents in check. Full count now to Suarez. Scott Schebler, powerful right fielder, is up next. Schebler has 15 home runs. Jay Happ trying to close out the Reds here in the top of the first.
.91 miles an hour. He'll cut the ball, sink the ball when he's going really well. Jay Happ will get a share of ground balls because of that sinker. Take a little something off of that. Right now he's just trying to find that strike zone, the lower half of the strike zone.
Hit in the air, and that's headed toward the seats, and it reached the seats out of play. Well, this is not exactly what Happ was hoping for. He wanted to be more efficient. He's thrown 20 pitches in the first inning, and he's supposed to be limited to about 75 pitches tonight.
Blue Jays are down 1 also in the bullpen. Dominic Leone was sent down after the ball game last night to get Jay Happ onto the roster, so they're down 1 arm in that pen.
Suarez walks with 2 outs. That's the first walk that Jay Happ has issued this season.
That's right, in his 4th start. Let's take a look what Jay Happ will feature tonight. Mainly he's going to use that fastball, and he's going to go inside, outside, up, down with that fastball. He can use the changeup, like I said. He'll use that 23% of the time. The slider is more like a cutter. He's thinking about cutter when he's releasing that pitch. And every now and then he'll use a curveball. But it's been great this year, before he was injured, throwing lots of strikes.
Scott Schebler goes after the first pitch, right to Smoke. He steps on the bag, and the inning is over. But Cincinnati, with those powerful bats, they have connected twice in the first inning. Zack Cozart, number 6, and right behind him, Joey Votto, number 13. 2-0 Cincinnati. for the Blue Jays, it'll be Kevin Pilar, Josh Donaldson, and then Jose Bautista. And Bautista, over his last 18 games, the numbers are impressive. 387 average, 7 home runs, and 18 RBIs for Jose. And Devin Travis, he's matched him for consistency in this month of May. Devin Travis has hit 16 doubles. That's the franchise record for doubles in the month of May. And Devin Travis has really come on after the end of April.
That's a powerful bottom third of the lineup for the Blue Jays. They will face Aser Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski made his Reds debut on May the 20th versus the Rockies. He pitched 3 2/3 scoreless innings of relief. He was originally drafted by the Blue Jays in 2010, the same draft that produced Aaron Sanchez, Noah Syndergaard. He has also pitched for Houston, Miami, and Arizona. He was released at the end of spring training this year by the Arizona Diamondbacks, being the 5th rookie pitcher, 10th starter used by the Reds this season.
The Reds have really been decimated like the Blue Jays in their rotation, and they have lost several of their key starters. Kevin Pilar is averaged down to 281. Blue Jays got 23 hits in the game last night, and Pilar was shut out. He finished up 0 for 6 in that ball game. He scored a run in the 5th and made that terrific defensive play in center.
Yeah, if you're not going to contribute with the bat, he just couldn't scratch out a hit yesterday. You got to help the ball club defensively. He made another one of those great catches out in center field.
Another pop-up that's going to reach the seats out of play. The Blue Jays as a team hit 500 last night. It's the 3rd time the Blue Jays have hit 500 or better in a ball game. It's the 2nd time they have hit over 500 against the Reds. In 2008 in June they hit over 500, and then they had one other game way back in '78.
They reached base 30 times in the game yesterday, and they only struck out twice.
That's pretty impressive. And Ezekiel Carrera, he did his part. He reached base 5 times with a 4-for-4 night and a walk. Russell Martin had a big night, 3 hits. Smoke, everybody had a big night. Smoke had a 3-hit game, including his first 3-run home run of the season, and Troy Tulowitzki hit his 4th career grand slam.
Most hits given up by the Reds since 1985 in one ball game. 23 hits last night for the Jays.
Kevin Pilar with a 2-2 count. Gets jammed. Votto will wait on it barehanded and flip to Wojciechowski for the out. 3-1 on the ground out. The Reds have committed just 25 errors. That's the 2nd fewest in the National League. Patrick Kivlahan is in left field. Joey Hamilton, he was my pitcher. Billy Hamilton is in center, and Scott Schebler is in right. Cozart and Peraza up the middle. Suarez and Votto at the corners. Devin Mesoraco back behind the plate for a 2nd straight game for Wojciechowski.
I think Billy Hamilton is going to do something exciting defensively tonight for some reason. He was a finalist for the Rawlings Gold Glove each of the last 3 seasons.
Donaldson skies it into center, and here comes the aforementioned Hamilton. 2 up, 2 down for Wojciechowski.
Outstanding speed in center field for Hamilton. Told you that he was a finalist last 3 years for a Gold Glove. He's also got a pretty decent arm. He's tied with Leury Garcia of the Chicago White Sox in outfield assists for center fielders. He's got 5 outfield assists this year. He can really play center field.
Jose Bautista goes after the first pitch. He hits a high fly down the right field line. A long run for Schebler. Oh, what an effort by the right fielder. He ran and ran and ran, never gave up, dove, and makes the catch to end the inning. And that one hurt. Long run, never giving up. Schebler stays with it, dives, and closes out the inning with a terrific catch.
No, it's hard to believe it was 22 months ago that Troy Tulowitzki became a Blue Jay, being traded over from Colorado. And when that deal was made, one of the first people he called was Joey Votto to pick his brain about the city and a little bit about the organization too. See, the two of these guys go back a long way. They're teammates in all-star games in the past, and we've known each other a long time, Tulowitzki said. We talk hitting, bounce ideas off one another. Votto says he admires how Tulowitzki takes care of both sides of his game, hitting and defense. We just have a mutual respect for one another, Votto said. As for that conversation 2 Julys ago when Tulowitzki got here, his confidant watched Troy's debut in the home run. The game got heavy attention, Votto said, and when I just saw how many people tuned in and the buzz it got, I was in serious awe.
I tell you what, they're very similar players. They're very understated. They're very focused on their task at hand, and neither one of them seeks the spotlight, that's for sure.
How about tunnel vision? Both of them. They want to win, and they want to do whatever it takes to win a ball game that day.
I think they'd both be happy playing baseball in an empty stadium just because they love playing baseball. They're both very serious about their craft, and they handle it very well. Jay Happ misses. It's 2-1 to Devin Mesoraco, the catcher. Mesoraco just trying to work his way back from a couple of years of serious injuries. He's had hip surgery on both hips and surgery on his left shoulder. And for a catcher, I can't imagine having bone spurs in your hips and torn labrums in your hips. It just became impossible to play.
He just wanted to be pain-free just when he would, that ball is fouled, when he would get down into his crouch as a catcher. Before he was hurt, he was one of the best looking young catchers in baseball, both offensively and defensively.
Chris Buckley is their professional scouting director, and he used to be with the Blue Jays, and he always told me about this young catcher they had coming through the system. He said, "You're going to love Devin Mesoraco." Everybody's hopeful he can recapture the form he had when he was healthy. Jay Happ picks up his first strikeout of the game. It's Mesoraco on a changeup away. One away.
It's a good pitch for him. You can see he uses that split grip with his index finger and his middle finger. It's not a true splitter, but he uses it as a changeup. The Super Slow-Mo replay is powered by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV, and that was a great shot of how he throws his changeup.
That's one thing that's very from every pitcher as far as how they hold their changeup. Bouncing ball. Donaldson gives ground to 360 and a strike to Smoke. Patrick Kevlahan, the left fielder, is thrown out. Nice play by Donaldson at third.
So far so good here in the second inning. A couple of back-to-back home runs in that first inning. Now he's got a strikeout and a quick out on a ground out. Nice play by Donaldson. Sometimes you have to give ground to get that good hop. And on those medium-sized ground balls like that, no problem. He's got plenty of arm strength to get the out.
Number 9 hitter is Jose Peraza. He played shortstop last night. He's at second base tonight. Peraza had his 13-game hit streak come to an end last night. He was 0 for 3. He had what looked to be a hit in the third inning, but it hit Marcus Stroman on the foot. Stroman was able to recover, make the play at first base to retire Peraza. Good numbers over his last 2 weeks. Smoke was off the bag. He left the flip to Happ just in time. Good inning for Jay Happ. Takes him just 11 pitches to retire the side in order.
TD Comfort Zone contest. On any Tuesday, post a video or photo of you showing your Blue Jays spirit, along with a hashtag TD Tuesday and @Blue Jays to Twitter or Instagram. For details and rules, visit bluejays.com/TD contest. By the way, fellas, down in Buffalo, Matt Latos has been released by the Bisons. So that means their rotation is now Luis Santos, Brett Oberholzer, Jarrett Grube, TJ House, and Cesar Valdez.
Well, and that's probably why Jay Happ is making this start tonight, because the Blue Jays don't have an awful lot of depth down there in AAA. They don't have anybody that can come up here and give them 100, 115 pitches. So you might as well bring Jay Happ back as long as he's healthy. Give you 75 pitches. The bullpen has been terrific lately, so they're able to count on those bullpen arms.
The start yesterday by Marcus Stroman and the blowout yesterday, I think, really helped the Blue Jays for this game. You knew that Jay was going to make the start, and you're not sure how far his 75 pitches was going to take him, so they needed some rest, and they got that yesterday with the blowout and Stroman throwing 6 innings.
Certainly makes the manager's job easy when you put up 17 runs. You can just kind of kick back and enjoy watching your hitters do their thing. Kenrys Morales, he got into the act as well. Morales had 3 hits, and he reached base in his final 5 plate appearances. He walked in the 3rd and 4th. RBI single in the 5th. Had a double in the 7th and a double in the 8th.
Those kind of games, you know, you get a hit your first time up, you get a hit your second time up. It just relaxes you. And as that game wore on last night, it just seemed like everybody was relaxed, just hitting what the pitcher was giving them. I have seen that carry over for a couple of days. You get nice and relaxed in the plates, you start carrying that over, and you start having good games back to back.
There's a base hit for Morales. He beats the shift as he hit that ball right past Cozart. That'll bring Justin Smoke to the plate, and last night he had a big night.
Drove this ball out of the ballpark. It ended up being a 3-run home run. That was his first 3-run home run of the season. He also leads all switch hitters with 12 home runs this year. I don't want to say a pleasant surprise, but I think it's been in him for a long time. He's just needed some consistent playing time, and he's getting that now with the Blue Jays.
You and I have been big supporters of Justin Smoke since he was with Seattle. He's always looked like one of those guys that was going to figure it out.
Yeah, first of all, he's a good glove man. That's what you want over at first base. He's a big target with soft hands, a good glove man. Second, he's a switch hitter. And in just watching him hit, said this guy should be hitting more home runs. He's got that type of ability, and it's starting to come to fruition this year.
Joey Votto, boy, that's the second straight good play he's made. He did it last night, made a terrific play at first, and here he takes extra bases away from Smokey. A line drive double play, 3 unassisted for Joey Votto.
It was Smoke last night who took that hit away down the right field line. A 3-1 assist. This time he jumps way out there, and then it's hit to his glove side, and that's an easy double play.
Yeah, that play Votto made last night was in the 3rd inning, and he knocked it down and was able to flip it to the pitcher. Smoke picked up an RBI, and then after Russell Martin walked, that's when Tulowitzki hit the grand slam. So here is Russell Martin. He's having quite a mini hit streak, if you will, 4 straight games. Russell is 7 for 14 in his last 4 games. Last night he started things off. His 2-run home run in the 2nd erased a 1-0 deficit. He would add 2 more hits and reach base twice more with a walk and a hit by pitch.
That home run yesterday was a ball to right field. Looked like it was just a fly ball, but it just kept carrying and carrying out of here. You start to hear some loud noise off the bat of Martin now.
Well, hitters always talk about it, and one of my old teammates, Hal McRae, says, you know what, when you're going good, you get sound.
Yeah, he's getting some sound now, isn't
Getting
he?
some serious sound. Change up and a strikeout. Good inning for Asher Wojciechowski. He gives up a single, gets the double play and a strikeout. We'll go to the third. Cincinnati has a 2-0 lead.
Auction is presented by TD, and that'll take place Friday night on our broadcast. Hosted by Ivanka Osmak, there are 10 unique Blue Jays and sport experiences and packages that are up for bids. You can visit bluejays.com/broadcast auction to see a list of all the prizes available. A reminder, all funds will help Jays Care level the playing field for over 65,000 children and youth across Canada. In 2017, one note, fellas, from Dunedin. Dalton Pompey has begun his rehab assignment. He is leading off and playing center field down in Florida today.
You saw Joe Biagini sitting there on the dugout bench. One of those broadcast auction items is a opportunity to go up on top of the CN Tower with Joe Biagini. Now, I don't know if that's the edge walk that Pat and I did, but I would really think that'd be a trip with Joe. Get him up there, walk around the edge. That'd be cool. I tell you what, you spend half an hour with Joe Biagini, that's a special time. Very interesting young man and a pretty good pitcher. So make sure you check out that broadcast auction. We'll have it for you on Friday night. Lots of great items to bid for, and it's all for a very worthy cause. So pop up. This one's down the line in foul ground. It's going to drop safely off the bat of Billy Hamilton.
Just the elevator ride up with Joe could be interesting. Just to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. I wonder if Joe's been up there before. We'll have to ask him that. But I know we got ourselves in trouble a couple of years ago when we talked about the edge walk, and we ended up having to do that. No promises anymore. I'm not going back up there.
No. Once is enough for a lifetime. I'm glad I can say I did it. I'm just not going to do it again.
Agreed.
I remember coming home that day going, what did I just do? Scariest thing I've ever done.
Quite an experience. 1-2 to Billy Hamilton. He flied out to right field his first time up. Trying to get him to chase that high heater.
I think if that ball was a little bit more in, he would have chased it, but it was off the plate up and away.
Happ working here in the third is halfway to his pitch count.
He's got one of those fastballs that guys just can't pick up.
It's a liner to left. Carrera battling the lights, stays with it, makes a nice catch. One out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Luis Severino is on the mound for New York, and his numbers against some of the Orioles hitters are not particularly good. So I don't think that game has been decided just yet.
That could be home run derby today in Camden Yards. I guess Aaron Judge ended that inning by flying out to the warning track against Chris Tillman. So home runs are popping out of Camden tonight.
Zack Cozart, he popped a home run his first time up. Back-to-back home runs. Cozart and Joey Votto on consecutive pitches went back-to-back. Tell you what, since that first inning, Jay Happ has done a very good job of making quality pitches on the edges of the strike zone.
Yeah, staying on the edges. He can go down or he can go up, but you got to stay on the edges. That Cozart is having a great year. No question that the Cincinnati Reds are in full-fledged rebuild. And Zack has been rumored to be on the trading block, and some teams could be interested in. This could be a nice veteran pickup for a team if someone's willing to pay the price. It's off to a great start this year.
It's a good player. He's a very good player, and Brian Price. We had a great conversation with Price around the batting cage today. He was talking about his team got off to a good start. They started off 7-2, and everybody's going, wow, you guys are pretty good. And then they talked about the Blue Jays. Well, the Blue Jays are 1-9. And then the conversation got to, well, when are the Blue Jays going to sell?
Yeah, 10 games into the season.
10 games in. He said these people react so quickly. He said, you know, you play 10 games and everybody's talking about who's going to be a buyer, who's going to be a seller. He said, man, you got to play 2 months of baseball before you have an idea what you have. And he is understanding that now. He's just in his 4th year as a manager, but he gets a pretty good feel for what's going on.
He said you can go 8-17 in April. You can turn that around in May. If you go 17-8, you're at 500. You still have 4 months left of baseball. I think that's what the Blue Jays are trying to do. Get to 500 and still have 4 months of baseball to play to try and get into the playoffs.
The Blue Jays were 6-17 on April 28th, and since then, only the Astros and the Dodgers have had better records than the Blue Jays. Joey Votto at the plate. Swings and misses. It's a ball and a strike on the Reds' first baseman. Votto connected for a home run his first time up. Mentioned it was a back-to-back home run situation. Votto's 13th home run, his 40th RBI.
He's just a pro. Do you know who his first hitting coach was in the big leagues? Brooke Jacoby, who's now with the Blue Jays. And I got to talk to Jake today, and I said, what was Votto like when he first came up? He said, I saw him as a player in Double-A, and I asked the Reds, I said, you got to bring this guy to the big leagues right now. He's ready to hit now in the big leagues. They didn't do that. They sent him to Triple-A, but then Scott Hatterberg was their first baseman, and when they decided to change and said, Joey Votto is going to be our guy, they brought him up, and he said he's never seen a player that has this type of swing. Works hard. He's a little bit different hitter now that he said. He said he's a little bit, when he first came up, he was a little bit more upright. He had a high leg kick, but he could still turn on baseballs.
Had to bail out in a hurry as that one got away from Happ. 3-2 now.
But his report to the Reds was, the first time I saw him, this guy's going to be a big leaguer. And soon. That's a cutter that he didn't get on top of. Sailed it up and in.
Votto came to the big leagues in 2007 as a 23-year-old. That was just a span of 24 games. Next year, played in 151. 3-2-1 out. Cozart at first, and Happ steps up.
That's right around the time Dusty Baker took over, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he got that scatter report on young Joey Votto and said, yeah, you're right. This guy can hit.
Adam Duvall is on deck. Cozart not running, and Votto fouls it off. Are you surprised Cozart's not running given the fact that Votto makes such good contact?
He doesn't strike out. In fact, he's got more walks than strikeouts this year. I am a little surprised. But I guess what Brian Price is thinking is, I don't want him to line into a double play. He's hit a lot of line drives this year, too.
So we'll do it again. It's a full count to Votto. Cozart was not running on the last pitch. Still not running. Votto fouls it off again.
He's got such an idea of the strike zone, and when you make a good pitch, he's got one of those unique ways of just fouling off tough pitches and keeping at bats alive.
Well, they hit right on the knob of the bat. You know, a lot of guys will have that little finger extended over that knob, and that would have been a tough situation for Votto, but because he chokes up about 4 inches, his hand was clear of that knob, and it hit right on the end of the knob.
Another cutter. Yep, right off the bottom of the bat.
Another 3-2 pitch. Happ and Votto battling. Soft ground ball. Smoke will go to first, and they'll retire Votto. Cozart moves to second. 2 away. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts. Available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. J. Happ won that battle with Joey Votto. It's the second out of the inning, but he's got another tough right-handed hitter in Adam Duvall with a runner in scoring position. One thing the Blue Jays, excuse me, Pat, one thing the Blue Jays have done very effectively this year is minimize the runs with 2 outs. They have one of the lowest percentages of runs allowed with 2 outs this season.
Finish the deal. That's what they're going to have to do against Duvall, who was responsible for both RBIs in last night's game. Doesn't look like he overstrides or has a big swing.
This is going to be quite a challenge. You see Duvall's numbers with runners in scoring position, and the Blue Jays have allowed just 33% of the runs scored against them this year with 2 outs. J. Happ's always been tough in these run-producing situations. He has the ability to work his way out of jams.
He has already hit this year, Duvall, with 117 runners on base. Man on base, 117 runners, and he's driven in 45 of them.
Ground ball. Tulowitzki's going to have a tough play. Goes on the run. Not in time. Not much you could do about that one. It was hitting the perfect spot in the hole at shortstop. Duvall can run. Tulowitzki made a terrific throw, but Duvall simply beat the throw at first.
Blue Jays are going to call to check on that. And yeah, you're right. He can get down that line. He's smelling base hit. We've seen Tulowitzki do this for 2 years now. Throw on the run, get enough on it in a spot where Smoke can stretch for it, but it just looks like Duvall beat it.
And you saw Smoke react accordingly. That throw was going to be late, so he came off the bag to keep his eye on Cozart, who was running from second to third, just in case he thought about taking a shot at scoring. 2 outs now. Here is the third baseman, Suarez. Suarez drew a walk with 2 outs in the first. One of 2 walks that Happ has surrendered. Ball on a strike. Well, Pete Walker, you can bet he's adding up the pitch count, and that last pitch was number 59.
He's also making notes on what he sees from Happ, something that they can talk about in between starts when they go and do their side session. In between these 2 starts, the thing he wanted to tell me today is he felt fine, pain-free after he threw on Sunday, and that was the most important thing.
J. Happ had just 1 rehab start. That was in the Florida State League, pitching for Dunedin. He had an extended spring start, but that was at 10 o'clock in the morning. And he said, I don't care how you try, it's difficult to get too amped up about making a start at 10 in the morning in the spring training minor league facility. Just not a whole lot going on there. So now there's a discussion going on about who will be next, as they're getting close to that decision. Three and one now to Suarez. There's another walk. Third walk of the ball game for Happ, and that will load the bases, and Pete Walker's going to jog out to the mound, and the bullpen starting to stir for the Blue Jays. Everybody down in that bullpen understand what's the situation with Happ. They know he's on a pitch count, so Danny Barnes starting to loosen up with that weighted ball. Dane Johnson, he's the bullpen coach, and they're just trying to figure out how to get out of this inning without giving up any more runs. And now that's a towel drill that Barnes will use also to get his bullpen session started.
With the baseball in his hand also. Yeah, try and get out of this inning as quickly as possible. Maybe you can sneak another inning out of Jay. You got to figure that there's going to be some rust after being out for so long. The last time he pitched again was April the 16th at the big league level. And they were going to ask him after just one rehab start to come out here and give me 75 pitches, show me what you got, and then build from there. Right now you can just tell he's just a little bit off in his delivery, that the bottom half is going a little bit too quickly and the arm hasn't caught up to his lower half just yet.
He's got a dangerous hitter to deal with, Scott Schebler, the right fielder. Bases are loaded. The Reds have hit one grand slam this season. Adam Duvall, the architect of that grand slam. You can see Schebler has hit 500 with the bases loaded in his young career. Schebler has a .317 average hitting against left-handed pitching.
I think if you're Jay Happ, right now you're fighting your control. Just try to get it down. Just keep the ball down, and maybe that hitter will get himself out.
We saw the difference for Schebler between down pitches and up pitches, and every time he got a ball up in last night's game, he hit it hard.
Remember we were talking about that play by Kevin Pilar in center field? That happened in the second inning. This is the guy who hit it right here. Took Pilar and put him all the way against that wall in center field yesterday.
Danny Barnes now has started to throw. Jay Happ has thrown 65 pitches. And they might just speed him up a little bit and cut Happ's outing short if he can get out of this inning. Schebler with a 2-1 count. Cincinnati has a 2-0 lead. Got that ball in a good spot, up and away.
Nothing wrong with his fastball. 93 miles an hour. He threw that one by him.
I think the thing that I look for is how free and easy his delivery is, and it looks like he has no reservations about his elbow. Oh, what a play by Tulowitzki. And that'll save Happ a couple of runs for sure. Tulo back at short doing his thing. He takes a hot shot, one hopper on the backhand, and then throws a strike to end the inning. The Reds will leave the bases loaded. Happ bends but doesn't break. Blue Jays. They trailed 2-0, and last night Tulo came to the plate with the bases loaded in the fourth.
Saw the first pitch, measured it, fastball from Stevenson, got the same pitch, fastball, and he clocked it out of here with the grand slam home run for Tulowitzki. That's his fourth career grand slam. It really blew open that game.
It was actually a third inning grand slam, and that's his second grand slam as a Blue Jay. Hit a grand slam against the Red Sox last September 11th. His second home run of this season. It was part of a 5-run third inning for the Jays.
You know, but it's not just his bat, his defense is A+. This could have been bad news for the Blue Jays if that ball gets by Tulowitzki, but he snares it and of course throws a strike over first base. Bases loaded, and the Reds can't score thanks to Tulowitzki.
Pops this one back over the screen, out of play.
He also made it a great play that inning. Remember the backhand? He almost got the guy at first base. He also had a play in last night's game where there was a ball up the middle where he stayed down on it. It was a tricky little play, and he made it look so easy.
You don't really get an appreciation for how good he is defensively until you see him play every day. Breaking ball for a strike. You know, Tulowitzki came over here, and you look at his offensive numbers as a shortstop. He's one of the best offensive shortstops in the game. But then you watch him play shortstop every day, and you go, oh my goodness, he can really play shortstop, and has a lot more range than you might expect. Hits this one deep to left field. This ball is carrying, and Duvall will get there. Excuse me, Kivlahan in left field. He makes the catch. One away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell again.
That's the 22nd time that Matt Holliday has gone deep twice in a ball game in his career. You know, 22 multiple home run games.
We were talking about the signing by the Yankees of Holliday, how we both kind of said, oh, well, that's okay. He's a nice guy, but probably done. That's home run number 11 for Matt Holliday, and RBIs 31 and 32. And hardly done yet.
No, not at all. And we're not even taking into consideration what he has meant to that team in the clubhouse. We have heard some really good things about his leadership with those young kids over there.
Devin Travis has a 13-game hit streak. That's the second longest active hit streak in the majors. The Kansas City Royals with Merrifield has a 14-gamer, and Devin's right on his heels. We mentioned earlier he has hit 16 doubles in the month of May. That's a franchise record for May. And here he works the count to a full count.
He was robbed of extra bases last night too. The ball was hammered to right center field, and he was robbed by Schebler.
That was in his first at bat in the second inning. 3-2, 1 out. Little flare into right field, and Schebler coming on quickly. I tell you what, he can cover some ground in right.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
What a city. Toronto, Ontario, and Lake Ontario. I tell you what, Lake Ontario's full to the brim.
Isn't it?
Ezekiel Carrera had a big night last night. He was on base all 5 times he came to the plate. Came to the plate 6 times, had a fielder's choice in his final at bat, so he was on base 6 times. And he wasn't even in the original lineup. He was told after BP, Chris Coughlin's back had tightened up on him. Hey, Zeke, you're in the lineup.
That's the best way to do it sometimes, isn't it? Go around, have your batting practice. Your mind is clear. Gibby was saying today around the cage, I said, what time did you tell him? He said, oh, about a half hour before the game. I went in and said, you're in the ball game. He didn't have time to think. Just go up there and hit.
Wojciechowski, one time through the order, has faced the minimum, just 9 batters. Kendrys Morales has the only hit.
Adrenaline just isn't there in rehab starts. For tonight, he said he came into it with no mental hurdles. He figures he let it go enough with the pitches down in Florida. And on the elbow issue, Buck, he said, I trust it's behind us now. So maybe just a little rust tonight from Happ.
I think that's exactly what it is. He's just a guy that needs some innings under his belt, and he gets the first pitch strike call. Devin Mesoraco, the catcher. So Happ now has thrown 68 pitches. Danny Barnes continues to throw down in Blue Jays pen. It's kind of an interesting irony about this game tonight. Jay Happ and Asher Wojciechowski were involved in a trade. Wojciechowski was a first-round draft pick of the Blue Jays, and he was part of the package deal that the Jays sent to Houston when Jay Happ and Brandon Lyon came to the Blue Jays. That was July 20th, 2012. Wojciechowski was a 2010 draft pick by the Blue Jays. He has since played for Houston, Miami, Arizona, and signed with Cincinnati in April.
How about that? Ironies of ironies. And here he is back in the big leagues after being released, facing the guy that he got traded for.
Tulowitzki throws out the catcher, Devin Mesoraco. We mentioned that 2010 draft, and it was a pretty impressive draft class, even for the Blue Jays. They drafted Wojciechowski in the 41st pick, but you go up to the 11th pick. Deck McGuire was the first pick by the Blue Jays in that first round. Then Aaron Sanchez at 34, Noah Syndergaard at 38. And oh, by the way, the #1 pick that year, Bryce Harper, who won't be playing for a few days.
Boxing Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper, of course, was suspended as part of the ruling by the commissioner. He and Scott Strickland of the Giants got suspended. Harper for 4, Strickland for 6. Tell you what, the guys that probably are the sorest today
Are the guys standing around that pile yesterday?
Samardzija and Morris.
Yeah, they collided.
They had a big collision, didn't they? Callahan goes after that high pitch and strikes out. 2 away for Jay Happ.
The all-new 2017 CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest fan yet. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Two outs. The number 9 hitter takes the first pitch low. Jose Peraza playing at second tonight. Jay Happ has passed 75 pitches. That last pitch, number 77, but it's important for him to get out of this inning. I thought they might pull the plug on this outing after 3, but now that he has gone up and down, up and down, up and down 4 times, so that will get him in good stead for next time out.
Yeah, and push him up to, this should be around 80 pitches if he can get Peraza right here, and then get him up to 90, and then nothing, no strings attached in that last. Remember, he's only had 1 rehab start. So what we're seeing tonight, 3 hits, a couple of walks, a couple of home runs, I think it's been pretty impressive.
1-2. I think it's been real good. I think the one thing that you see is he hasn't really gotten control of his release point. A couple pitches have gotten away, and as he gets more innings under his belt, that will iron itself out. He went around. Well, that's a good finish for Jay Happ. 3 up, 3 down here in the 4th. Couple of strikeouts. He finishes up, if indeed he's done, retiring 4 straight. Reds starter making his first start for Cincinnati, was a first-round pick of the Jays back in 2010, and these were all first-round picks by the Blue Jays, and they had 4 picks in that first round, and they made the most of it.
Yeah, Deck McGuire, you mentioned him. I think he was number 11. Sanchez, Syndergaard, Wojciechowski was in that draft for the Blue Jays. There were some other great players in that draft also. How about the Baltimore Orioles getting Manny Machado with the 3rd overall pick?
Machado was 3rd. Chris Sale was 13th. Christian Yelich was 23rd. I think it's interesting too when you talk about Harper and Manny Machado going 1st and 3rd. Many of the great general managers think you should take a position player with your highest picks. I got Pilar on the back of the hand, and he will go to 1st, and he appears to be okay. Pitch was up and in. He kind of put his hands right out there in harm's way.
He's had some hand problems last couple of seasons, so you never want to see this. This one looks like it got him on the forearm. Kevin trying to pull those hands and that arm back in. He just can't duck out of the way fast enough, and he'll head down to first base. Second base runner.
Quite honestly, that's a lot better than getting hit down on the wrist or in that hand. So Josh Donaldson, he's starting to look like he's going to do something dramatic here. It doesn't take Donaldson long to get it going.
Hit a double his first at bat coming off the disabled list when he came back. It's just starting to look like he's getting his timing down. Got a lot of moving parts in that swing. He's got the high leg kick. He's got to use that as a timing mechanism.
Donaldson's playing in just his 13th game of the season. He missed 38 games with that calf injury. He flied out to center field, got underneath the high pitch his first time up. 2-0 Cincinnati. They had back-to-back home runs with one out in the first. Breaking ball catches the inside corner.
Make a note of that right there. Wojciechowski not afraid to throw these big right-handed home run hitters that breaking ball. 2-0.
Pilar has 8 stolen bases this season. I don't think this is a running situation with Donaldson and Bautista up next.
No, not yet. Not with these guys at the plate. They represent the tying run. Not a lot of experience for Wojciechowski on the mound prior to this season. It only made 5 appearances, but that was back in 2015.
Swing and a drive. Get up, ball, and way back. 5th deck for JD. Starting to look dangerous.
High fastball. Goodness gracious. That's called starting to make some noise right there with the bat. That was a loud, thunderous boom when that ball came off the bat of Josh Donaldson, and we are all tied up.
That's what you call big time sound. A 5th deck home run for Donaldson.
Well, you can sit there and admire that one because you know you're going to be breaking it down soon. Jogging around the bases after that hit.
DeMarlo Hale said, "You get that one?" Hit it off the end, eh?
Four-seamer. Right where he likes it. Right now he's saying, please do not go foul. Those are the kind of home runs. Yeah, he knows it. Those are the kind of home runs you don't even feel it coming off your bat.
There's another one. Way back. Back-to-back home runs. Number 10 for Jose.
What a month of May it has been for Jose Bautista. Driving in big runs, hitting big home runs, and that was a monster moonshot to left field.
3rd time the Blue Jays have gone back-to-back this season. Well, the last pair to do it, Luke Maile and Marcus Stroman.
Watch Wojciechowski now try to throw his changeup and his breaking ball here because they've turned around a couple of his fastballs.
This one's popped up and out of play.
Gets into a fastball count, and Jose with that picture perfect finish. blast that thing to left field.
For Bautista, that's his 8th home run in his last 19 games. His 10th of the season. He now has 28 RBIs. Tulowitzki with a grand slam last night. Donaldson with a 2-run home run. And here's another one deep to right. That one is going to stay in the yard. Schebler jumps for it. And Morales just missed it.
You can see Schebler upset with the surface here. There's not a warning track, so he doesn't have an idea how far he has to go back to that wall. That's twice now that he timed his jump and he wasn't at the wall. Breaking ball hit deep. Schebler goes back. He's not at the wall, so he's got to time to get back there. And after he throws it in, he points down to the ground saying, like, what's up with this stuff here? Boys thought they had 3 in a row.
That's the first out of the inning. Pilar was hit by a pitch. Donaldson hit a 2-run home run. Bautista a solo shot right behind him. Let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, the 5th deck home run from Donaldson, 109 miles an hour off the bat, went 435 feet. Bautista, 108.2 off the bat, 431.
Ball is jumping ninth. The last Blue Jay to hit one in the 500 level was Edwin Encarnacion on April 21st, 2015 against Jason Garcia of the Orioles. Remember, Jose Canseco hit the first one up there in the playoffs off the late Mike Flanagan, and everybody was like, wow, we didn't think anybody would ever hit one up there.
It never gets old, does it? Watching that? I mean, that is a thing of beauty.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Justin Smoke. That ball's a fair ball. Smoke left standing in the batter's box. Mesoraco got on it quickly and picked it up in fair territory. John Gibbons is going to say, wait a minute now, I thought that ball hit Smoke, and if it did, it would have been a foul ball. Chris Guccione is the home plate umpire. Smoke not wanting to give up the at bat, but I think it's going to be a ground out 3-2 for the second out of the inning.
Well, let's see if that ball hits him. Doesn't appear to. Doesn't matter where it hits when it's first struck by the bat. It can hit back there, just plows through that chalk, and it's out in home plate. Heads up play by Mesoraco to record the out and catch that ball before it goes foul.
Russell Martin jumps on that first pitch and hooks it just foul. Russell's got a 4-game hit streak. He struck out his first time up. Well, the starting pitching has really been a concern for Cincinnati. They come into this game tonight. The starting pitcher's ERA 5.94, last in the majors.
They've had a lot of injuries to their starters that would be their starters. Homer Bailey, Brandon Finnegan, Anthony DeScalfani.
Amir Garrett started in the rotation, a rookie.
He's on the disabled list right now. They played 50 games. 7 times their starter hasn't been able to finish 3 innings. Makes things a little bit tough for your manager and your bullpen.
Puts a lot of pressure on your bullpen, and because of that, the Reds bullpen has pitched an awful lot. They have made a roster move. They called up Jackson Stevens and sent Robert Stevenson back down to the minors. So they have an arm in the pen. They weren't really sure if he was going to make it on time, but he has been added to the roster, and they're trying to get him here for this game. Russell Martin puts a charge in it, and this one's going to go. 3rd home run of the inning. And the wheels have come come off for the Reds once again. Home run number 5 for the Blue Jays catcher.
You know, that's called making adjustments, I think, if you're Russell Martin. He sat over there and watched the Blue Jays hit a couple of fastballs out of here for a home run. And then Hausky, we told you he's going to start throwing his off-speed pitches a little bit more. He threw him 3 straight changeups, and he made the adjustment, stayed back on that last one, and got all of it to left field.
Tulowitzki fights it off.
Watch what a major league hitter has to deal with. See the changeup in his hand? All right, now Russell says, okay, I see it. Here comes another one. I see it. Look at it in his hands. You can see that whole ball coming out. Russell stays back on that one and crushes it.
And Wojciechowski knew it. The home run by Martin, the 3rd of the inning, is the 46th home run the Blue Jays have hit this month. That's the most in the majors.
Boy, veteran hitters, if you keep going to the well one too many times, they're going to make the adjustment in the at-bat. And Russell did just that.
First time through the batting order, Wojciechowski faced the minimum. He gave up a single. That was erased on a double play. Different story, second time through. And Tulowitzki gets hit. Tulowitzki gets hit with a 1-2 fastball. Pilar was hit to start the inning. Now Tulowitzki gets hit with 2 outs.
And everybody knows that wasn't on purpose. Just a young kid right now is flustered by the Blue Jays home run strokes. Joey Votto came in to try and calm things down. It's just a fastball that gets away from him. And it clips Tulo right on that elbow pad.
Pitching coach out to try to help out his young pitcher, Matt Jenkins, in his first season as a pitching coach. We talk about the Blue Jays and their ability to exchange information when they're facing a pitcher they're not that familiar with.
Yeah, it only takes one time through, and the Blue Jays have picked up on it. Doesn't make it feel any better. That hurts, as Votto's saying, hey man, young guy, the ball just got away from him. It's Michael Lorenzen, who usually pitches towards the back end of the ball game, warming up.
4-2 Blue Jays. Devin Travis. Martin's home run extends his hit streak to 5 straight games. Travis has a 13-game hit streak on the line. Up and down the order. Everybody's swinging the bat. Pitching Travis away, that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, that's right into his sweet spot.
A little bit high. Blue Jays hit 3 homers last night. 2-run home run, a grand slam, and a 3-run homer. They've hit 3 in this inning. Donaldson, Bautista, and Martin. You just know that Wojciechowski's a little bit concerned about pitching inside after hitting 2 batters this inning.
And giving up the home runs. And the game really speeds up for young players when it's like this, and you're trying to get through the inning as fast as possible and get out of there.
That's going to be out of play. Wojciechowski is young in experience. He is 28 years old. He just hasn't had much major league experience. Cincinnati's had a tough time in the pitching department. When you look at the home runs allowed in the majors, they are the leader in that category that nobody wants to be involved in. The Phillies, the Angels, the Mariners, and Tigers have all surrendered more than 70 home runs this season. Took something off that breaking ball. That ends the inning, but 8 Blue Jays bat in the 4th, and they have taken a 4-2 lead thanks to 3 home runs. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Since April 16th, and he actually looked pretty good. 81 pitches in the outing. That covered 4 innings. About 3 hits, back-to-back home runs in the first inning on consecutive pitches. But overall, he did a nice job. He walked 3, struck out 3. His first 3 walks of the season. Now he has 23 strikeouts and 3 walks.
How about that? And he is finished with 4 innings, so the Blue Jays will turn it over to the bullpen. First one out tonight, Danny Barnes. And what a season that Danny's been able to put together so far. Lefty's hitting 179 in his 19 1/3 innings. He's been a nice little bridge. He's been a guy who's been able to chew up some innings in the middle parts of the ball game and get to that back end. He comes right after you with a fastball, and he's got a lot of confidence in his changeup.
There it is, the changeup. It's 0-2 to Billy Hamilton. He's 0 for 2 so far. One of the keys to beating the Reds is keeping this guy off the bases. He started out the game with a bunt single last night, stole second, moved to third on a ground out, and then scored on a base hit. It's the only time he reached base.
You know, he can score from first base on singles. We've seen him do it. He's got that kind of dynamic speed.
One away.
Buy 6 cans of Beauty Tone paint and get the 7th free. Available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts.
Danny Barnes working the top half of the 5th inning. Strikes out Billy Hamilton. Now Zack Cozart. Cozart has reached base now in 22 straight games. He homered in the first, walked in the 3rd. He's hit another deep drive to left, and this one's going to go. Cozart with his 2nd home run of the night, his 7th of the season, and the Reds have come right back.
What a year he is putting together. 344 coming into this game. He's got a couple of home runs now in a walk. He scored a couple of runs. Power from the shortstop position. Danny Barnes wants this ball down and away. And it looks like a changeup that stays up over the middle of the plate.
Gets ahead of Joey Votto with another changeup. That's the 3rd home run surrendered by Danny Barnes and the 2nd home run of the game for Zack Cozart.
It's a team, the Reds and the Blue Jays, they can play home run derby with the best of them.
Votto spoils that good changeup, fouls it on. For Cozart, that's his third career multi-home run game. As we mentioned, his 7th home run comes with 1 out here in the 5th.
That on-base percentage, 410 for Votto. He's got 2 strikes on him now.
Swings and misses at that high fastball. 2 strikeouts for Barnes.
Well, that's something you don't see very often with Joey Votto striking out, but that's something that Danny Barnes can get upstairs with that fastball. Go up there about letter high. And Votto misses it again. He's had more walks than strikeouts this year.
It's his 28th strikeout. He has 37 walks. Adam Duvall goes after that high fastball. 92 miles an hour, but there's something about Barnes and his fastball upstairs. Hitters have a tough time getting to it.
He's got that quick release, and he can really spin the ball. There's just certain pitchers, they throw 92, but it looks like 98 for that batter in that batter's box. And he's always been a guy who can throw a lot of strikes. Got a very simple windup, simple delivery, and that keeps him in the strike zone.
Bounces that changeup in there. Blue Jays lead at 4-3. All of the runs scored in this game have been on home runs. Look at that fastball right up and away, part of the strike zone for hitters.
When he was in the minor leagues, he had a reputation of just pounding the strike zone. Moved up through the ranks very quickly in the minors.
Third baseman Eugenio Suarez is on deck if the ball can reach base. Danny Barnes ends up striking out the side, but he gives up a home run to Zack Cozart, and it's a 1-run lead.
Peraza was running on the first pitch. You got to figure Billy Hamilton's going to be taken off early in the count.
Hamilton has 27 stolen bases. He had a stolen base the only time he reached base in last night's game. This is the first time he's been on tonight. A 4-4 game. That snaps to Peraza's consecutive scoreless streak. It ends at 19.
Well, he likes to go early in the count, does Billy Hamilton. He's had 12 first pitch stolen bases this year. You got to make him stop his feet.
Pitch out.
You can see him inching off at first base, and he keeps his feet moving. That's where Ryan can hold that ball just a little bit longer, make him start from a standstill.
It's really interesting. Every time he moves his feet, he gains ground. Good throw over by Tepera. Now, a lot of base stealers will just move their feet to get rhythm, but each time he picks up his feet, he gains a few more inches towards second.
So hold it just a little longer.
There he goes. Martin's throw, a strong throw, not in time. Stolen base number 28 for Billy Hamilton.
Blue Jays are going to want to look at that one, but I think he was safe. Gets a great jump. And throws there, but that hand is on there. Travis did a good job of keeping that glove on Hamilton. That's what they might want to take a look at. Watch him just hold that glove right on that runner, just in case he pops off that bag.
See, he's got that mitten to protect his fingers in those headfirst slides. Kevin Pilar wears a similar mitten on his left hand. 28 stolen base. It's only been caught 3 times. Hamilton's had 3 seasons of 50 or more stolen bases. He stole over 100 bases in the minors twice in his minor league career, and has a baseball record of 155 bases stolen in 2012.
Out of 192 attempts that season.
There's the walk to Cozart. Let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, the 28 stolen bases lead the league for Billy Hamilton. I asked Russ Martin, what pregame preparation can a catcher do? No homework, Russ admitted. He said you can't do much to slow him down, but what's impressed Russ most about Hamilton is how he's become more of a savvy base runner. He knows pitchers' moves now. His timing has improved. He's gotten better with time. Of course, the speed is his weapon, guys, but his baseball IQ has made him more of a headache, too.
Starting to get very comfortable about running, and you have to have a lot of confidence to steal bases. You've got to not be concerned about getting thrown out
or picked off.
2014, he was caught 23 times. Joey Votto batting with runners at first and second. Nobody out, a run in here. Brian Tepera has given up 2 singles and a walk. There goes Hamilton. Martin's throw is in time. He got it. Boy, what a quick release by Russell Martin. That's the best throw for a catcher, because everything is lined up. You got a left-handed hitter, your shoulders are in line with third base, and you can really unload a good throw to third.
And that's why I was surprised with Joey Votto at the plate in a tie game that he would even try. Look at Russell come out of there firing. His body was moving towards third base. There's the tag, and he is called out. And the Reds are not going to challenge. Look at the body movement coming out, firing on all cylinders, and throws a strike.
Everything is lined up in that direction to begin with, and that's a good base to throw to, especially with a left-handed batter. You have nothing to worry about. You got a clear view of the runner, and you can come out of that chute just as Martin did. He got moving before he caught the ball.
Just wondering why he's running with Joey Votto at the plate.
And nobody out.
And nobody out. Don't want to make the first or third out over at third base.
Just the fourth time that he has been caught this season.
See, if the Blue Jays get Votto and the runners can't move up, a pop up or a strikeout, then you've got a right-handed hitter coming up. Then you can try and steal third base. But I'm surprised he went with a great hitter like Votto at the plate.
Well, and another thing that happened against the Reds was that Cozart didn't follow him into second. So now he stays at first base, the double plays in order. So you know they're going to try to get Hamilton because you got a left-handed hitter. Cozart's got to read the play and just follow Hamilton into second and take the Reds out of this double play situation. Aaron Loop, the lefty, loosening up. 2-1 count on Joey Votto. Blue Jays have turned 48 ground ball double plays this season. Devin Travis has really become a good pivot man in the middle of that double play. Votto takes ball 4, second walk of the inning issued by Peraza. Pete Walker has a couple of things on his mind he wants to talk about. WestJet is going big on trips to Vegas with the most flights from Canada. Take a swing at your WestJet Vegas surprise and book now for the whole team at westjet.com/Vegas. Get that whole group out there in the WestJet flight deck and book your trip out to Vegas. That's a party group out there, and they're probably up for a trip to Vegas. Vegas is going to have a hockey team, and soon they're going to have a football team.
That's right. NFL coming to Vegas.
The Vegas Golden Knights expansion team. That's pretty cool. And you don't think there's going to be some road trips planned to Vegas? Go out and see your favorite hockey team, your favorite football team play in Las Vegas. I'm in. Adam Duvall, the cleanup hitter. He's 1 for 3. He had an infield single in the 3rd. The Reds have tied it up here in the 7th. Billy Hamilton with an RBI single. Duvall's a dangerous hitter. The Reds have hit 3 home runs, matched by the Blue Jays. They had 3 home runs in the 4th inning. Jason Grilli has really sorted things out lately. He has had 8 consecutive scoreless outings, and the fastball velocity is back. Break on his slider is improved.
Good pitch, and the emotion is back for Jason. That was a good pitch right there. When Peraza's slider is working, it's a late breaker, and that was a late breaker. Giving Duvall a good chance to take a look at it. Love to get a 2-for-1 right here. Ground ball double play.
Peraza ahead 0-2. Line drive to left. Carrera coming over, dives and makes the catch. What a nice play by Carrera in left. Pitchers love that.
You know, we talked about him earlier today about his contributions for this team as a 4th outfielder, getting a lot of playing time now with some injuries. You got to help the club, first of all, with the glove, and he does right there. He was on base 5 times last night, 4 base hits, but it's the glove, the defense that you need late in the games And Zeke comes up, dives, holds on to that ball. That's 2 runs if he can't come up with that ball. Nice play.
Suarez takes the first pitch strike. Talk about pitchers getting support from their defense, and Ryan Tepera very appreciative of that effort by Carrera in left field.
2 very good defensive plays this inning to help out Ryan Tepera. The throw by Martin and then the catch by Carrera.
2 more red stars in the scorebook. Martin with a terrific throw to catch Billy Hamilton just for the 4th time this season. Another 0-2 count. Eugenio Suarez choking up. Suarez has walked twice and struck out.
Taking some pointers from Joey Votto with 2 strikes. You do that just to get a little bit more back control. Hopefully you can wait just a little bit longer and recognize a breaking ball. That's why you choke up.
Peraza strikes him out. That ends the inning. The Reds score a run on 2 hits, but they leave 2, and the support defensively by Carrera last night with his bat, tonight with his glove.
Or a trip to a Blue Jays road game. How about a VIP experience at Rogers Center? Rogers wants you to submit your baseball dream at RogersCelebrates.com, and your baseball dream could come true.
There have been a lot of baseball dreams come true here in the last couple of years for the Blue Jays fans. The Blue Jays have played in the postseason the last 2 seasons. They made it to the American League Championship Series 2 years in a row. Their goal is to go back there once again and take it a step further. It's a 4-4 game. The Jays are set to hit the bottom of the 7th. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays. Devin Travis will lead things off. He is 0 for 2 so far.
That inning could have got away from the Blue Jays, but their defense kept it to just 1 run.
You really got to question Billy Hamilton running in that situation with nobody out. He made the first out at third base, and then Carrera made a terrific catch in left. Hamilton caught for just the 4th time this season by Russell Martin. Ball and a strike on Travis.
Lorenzen's been tough. He is working on his 3rd inning here in the 7th inning.
That's going to go foul. This bullpen's a real strength of Cincinnati.
Yeah, especially late in the ball game now. Lorenzen had been setting up for Iglesias. But Brian Price, I think, made the right decision. Said, you know what, I got to stop the bleeding when it was 4-2. I got to bring my guy in right now, and I got to ride him as long as I can.
Breaking ball, and Travis strikes out. First out of the bottom of the 7th inning for Lorenzen. That's his 4th strikeout since coming into the game. He's had a good combination of a hard fastball and this sharp breaking curveball.
It comes right after you. Effortless delivery. He's only given up 2 home runs all season long. Pretty good breaking ball right there. You got to respect this fastball. And he drops that thing on you.
Carrera shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Asher Wojciechowski started this game. He went 4 innings, and then Brian Price went right to Lorenzen. Here's a strike. Lorenzen pitching in his 22nd game of the season. Herrera takes a bunt, and a terrific play by Suarez. He showed bunt in all 3 pitches in that at bat and bunted it. The third baseman was well in at third. It makes a good play.
And it kept coming in a little bit closer the longer you got into this at bat. Not a bad bunt. It's just a great play by Suarez, who kept coming in closer and closer. He's in on the grass right there, reads the bat, and makes the play. It's a good defensive team, the Cincinnati Reds.
One of the best in baseball. They have committed just 25 errors. It's the second fewest in the National League. Colorado, and that terrific team, they've committed just 22 errors. I don't think the Rockies are going away.
No, I don't think so. Too many athletes, too many good players.
Joe Smith and Aaron Loup, double barrel action for the Blue Jays. Scott Schebler, the first batter in the top of the 8th, the lefty. Kevin Pilar with a 2-1 count. No one is warming up in the Reds bullpen. They've got confidence in Lorenzen in this 4-4 game. Just a little bit of a cutting action takes it off the end of the bat.
That's tight too, isn't it? A tight spinning breaking ball that looks like a fastball out of his hand. Puts it in a good spot. Why would they have anybody warming up the way he's been throwing?
Outside. You mentioned Lorenzen has surrendered just 2 home runs this season. Anthony Rizzo hit them both in 2 separate games. He hit one on the 21st of April and one on the 16th of May. Pilar takes ball forward. That sets the table for Josh Donaldson. Drive of the game brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Well, you want to see a drive of the game? How about Josh Donaldson's at bat in the 4th inning? That is a moonshot to left field. 5th tank. Upper deck drive by Donaldson. 2-run home run after Pilar was hit by a pitch. Tonight's drive of the game is a long one from Josh Donaldson.
3 home runs for the Blue Jays, all coming in the 4th inning. The only inning in which they have scored. That has been a trend for the Blue Jays this season. They have several times scored all of their runs in a game in 1 single inning. Outside.
Try to get the pitching to to hold it right there. It's going to bring Mac Jenkins back out. This is when Donaldson gets tough, when he's ahead in the count.
So Jenkins out to talk to both Mesoraco and Lorenzen. The Donaldson home run in the 4th inning, a 500 level home run, as you see Blake Wood loosening up. It was the 11th time a Blue Jays player has hit one into the 500 level. There have been 9 different players that have gone up to that 5th deck, and Donaldson the most recent. He hit it so good it even impressed him.
Yeah, he was impressed. We all were impressed with that one.
3rd home run of the season. Of course, this is only the 13th game of the season for Donaldson. He's at the plate now with 2 outs. Pilar at first base with the 2-out walk. Lorenzen has struck out 4, but he's walked 3.
You're going to get that slider down and away if you're a right-handed power hitter.
Mentioned those 500 level home runs. Edward Encarnacion has hit 2 up there. Josh Phelps also had 2 in the 500 level.
One of those was off of Roger Clemens. I remember watching that one.
It is a 4-4 game. Donaldson and Bautista have both homered. They went back-to-back in the 4th. Ground ball to short. And that'll do it. Donaldson bounces into the 4th out. That ends the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. It's a 4-4 game. Good relief job by Lorenzen.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the rugged Honda Pioneer Off-Road family. Your adventure begins here.
Four game as we move to the 8th inning here at Rogers Center. The roof is closed, and into the game is the lefty Aaron Luke for the 23rd time this season.
And a situational lefty at times for the Blue Jays. He's also giving them an inning plus this year. 20 strikeouts and just 9 walks this year for Luke in his 22 games. He was telling me the other day when I asked him, what's different about you this year? He says, you know, when I miss, I don't miss in the middle of the plate. When I was first coming up, I didn't have that fastball command, which he feels is his strong point right now. Fastball command. And when I would miss out over the middle of the plate and would get hurt. Now it's off the plate.
There's one just off the plate inside. Caught Schebler, the right fielder, 0 for 3. He was retired on a nice defensive play in the third by Troy Tulowitzki. Throw him out at first.
He's hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. Doesn't have anything to show for it.
Got something to show now. Bautista's trying to cut it off. Pilar will get to it. Schebler's headed for second, and he'll get there with a leadoff double. Schebler hitting over 300 against left-handed pitching. Loop splits are reversed. He pitches more effectively against righties than he has this season against lefties. So Schebler gets the leadoff double in this 4-4 game. Joe Smith will come on to face the catcher Devin Mesoraco. Nobody out. We're in the 8th. In the 9th, all but one run tonight has been knocked in with the long ball. Blue Jays have hit 3 home runs. The Reds have hit 3 home runs. The only RBI that wasn't a home run, Billy Hamilton, tied it up with a single in the 7th. Aaron Loop is out after giving up the leadoff double to Scott Schebler. Joe Smith into the game.
Joe's had a couple of days off. Last worked on the 27th inning. Picked up another hold against Texas. His numbers really good this year. He's going to be asked to get 3 outs without a run scored.
Inside pitch off the plate. Devin Mesoraco, the catcher. Joe Smith from Cincinnati pitching against his hometown team.
Here's a couple of tri-staters here today. Luke Maley in the house for the Blue Jays, also from the tri-state.
1-1 count. One thing that helps Joe Smith in this situation is his ability to get the strikeouts. Strikeouts have been sky high for Smith this season.
He does it with a lot of smarts. Boy, there's a good breaking ball. He was telling me the other day I can read bats. If a guy's trying to sit on my breaking ball, I have that ability to get that fastball in there with some movement, and vice versa.
Smith has 36 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings. He's only walked 7. But this is a strikeout situation here. Leadoff double, man at second, nobody out. You don't want Mesoraco to move him over to third.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to get an out, and you're also looking to get an out where he can't move that runner. So maybe you go inside with a fastball. Maybe he rolls over on it, gets a ground ball, or you try and go slider and get a strikeout.
Boy, what a pitch and a Overmatched Devin Mesoraco will walk back to the dugout. 37th strikeout for Smith. First out of this 8th inning.
You want to see what a guy looking for a breaking ball looks like when he gets a fastball. He was anticipating that sweeping slider. Joe crossed him up and threw a fastball.
Perfect example of a pitcher reading the bat of the hitter. This is Scooter Gennett coming off the bench. He started in the game last night, played second base, went 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch. So he is pinch hitting for Patrick Kevlahan, the left fielder. Kevlahan went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. So with that, Russell Martin went out to the mound to talk things over briefly with Joe Smith, and Tim Leeper is moving the outfield around, indicating to Carrera that Gennett will inside out the pitch. Gennett 1 for 15 as a pinch hitter this season. And he falls behind quickly.
Not a lot of power. He will strike out, though. He's a free swinger. He's only had 4 walks and 24 strikeouts this season in less than 100 at-bats. But not a lot of power. He'll spray the ball the other way. That's why the outfield is shading him to left field.
1-1 to the pinch hitter. Schebler at second can run. We have seen him cover a lot of ground in the outfield. Smoke with a grab, and Schebler does a good job to get back safely at second. Line drive that Smoke hauled in. So Gennett now 1 for 16 as a pinch hitter.
Blue Jays lined into a double play just like that earlier this game. In fact, it was Smoke who lined into the double play on a hard hit ball to the third baseman. This looked like it had base hit written all over it, but Smoke at 6'4" reaches up, hauls it in, and Schebler does a good job of not straying too far off that bag.
Blue Jays have played some solid defense once again tonight. Martin with a strong throw to nab Billy Hamilton at third. Carrera with a diving catch to rob Duvall of extra bases. Jose Peraza had a single his last time up. Tulowitzki dives, gets to his feet quickly, and that ball is offline. Peraza can really run. Smoke did a good job to come off the base and take that wide throw on the short hop. Another hit for Peraza, his second of the night.
I don't know if Tulo got a good grip on this ball. He dives, comes up, and Smoke did the right thing. He came off that bag to keep that runner at third base. If you're playing first base and you see that throw is going to be offline, come off and just block it.
DeMarlo Hale now is trying to assess the situation. Peraza at first has a stolen base tonight. Schebler can run. He's at third. Billy Hamilton can bunt. So there are a lot of things going on right now in the Reds' favor, even though there are 2 outs. So now Hale will go through the defensive sign for Martin.
If he takes off at first base, what is he going to do with the ball?
There he goes. Martin will not throw it. So Peraza will go to second. Second stolen base of the night, continuing to boost the Reds' stolen base total. 3 more stolen bases tonight.
Now the corners have to stay in. Hamilton hasn't bunted a lot, but we saw him in last night's game. He was successful one time and tried to run up another time on a ball.
Shows bunt there. This is really an interesting situation. If he does bunt with 2 outs, you might be better off to try to get the runner trying to come home.
You got to be thinking about that if that's your play.
Hamilton tied it up with a looping single into right center back in the 7th. Picked up his 17th RBI.
You know what it comes down to? If he does bunt and he bunts up the first base line, it's a race between Devin Travis to the bag and Hamilton first to first. That's the race. It's not the smoke get back or anything like that, because he's going to be charging.
That's academic now with 2 strikes. Joe Smith struck out Mesoraco for the first half. Got Jeanette the line out. Top of the 8th. Fly ball into center, and that should do it. Pilar is there, and the Reds are retired in the top of the 8th. Good job by Joe Smith. The Reds have left 9 in this 4-4 game. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell along with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. The ball game to face the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th in his 4-4 game, 23rd appearance. And we talked about how effective the back end of this Reds bullpen is. Lorenzen did a terrific job. Now he turns things over to Wood.
He's been a nice little surprise. He leads this team in appearances now with 23. He doesn't have a win, but he's got a very good earned run average at 342. Heavy sinking fastball. That's what you're going to get from Wood. He's just going to pound it, just keep throwing that sinker to anybody. 4-seam fastball also, but it's sinker. He's going to throw it half the time and it come right after you. Scooter Gennett will stay in the ball game after he pinch hit for Kiblahan and will take up space in left field. Wood is going to have to keep that sinker down because he's facing the power bats of the Blue Jays.
Jose Bautista, Kendrys Morales, and Justin Smoke. First pitch is in there for strike 1. 96 miles an hour. Wood's got an unusual delivery that allows him to hide the baseball very effectively. Throws that left shoulder up in the air, really tucks his glove and the baseball back behind his body.
Good eye.
Wood has pitched with the Royals, the Indians, and now the Reds. .65. Bautista rips it to left. A leadoff single here in the 8th. Second hit for Bautista against Wood.
He struck him out last time on a breaking ball. Lorenzen did. This time, Wood throws the breaking ball Stays over the middle of the plate. Jose grits his teeth and rips it into left field. That bat is coming through there nice and quick.
Kenrys Morales, 1 for 3, had a single his first time up. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to run in this situation. They'll let Morales and Smoke swing it. Bautista with 2 more hits tonight, 2 for 4. For Bautista, those 2 hits, that's going to boost his batting average to .394 over his last 19 games.
With power or with production, huh?
8 home runs during those 19 games. Morales with the count in his favor. Swing and a drive. This one's going to go, folks. Home run, Morales. 4th home run of the night for the Jays.
I told you that Wood doesn't give up many home runs. That was his first one that he had given up.
That's not many.
That's not many, but it's a big one for the Blue Jays. He fell behind Morales, challenged him upstairs with the fastball, and Kentrys does it again.
4 home runs tonight, all 6 runs for the Blue Jays coming on the long ball. The Blue Jays went back-to-back in the 4th. Smoke trying to do the same thing here in the 8th.
He had a home run cut on that first pitch fastball. He just saw Morales has already had a walk-off home run. He's had a grand slam this year. Now he's had a 2-run go-ahead home run in the 8th inning. They went breaking ball, ball 1, and then it's fastball. I'm going to challenge Morales, and it's up. He's a good high ball hitter. Finishes that thing off with a long one. He has now hit 10 home runs. The second Blue Jay batter tonight to get into double digits in home runs. Bautista did it earlier.
Boy, that is a pretty swing. That fastball right up out over the plate. He smoked it. 1-1. Blue Jays love to see those home runs. 4th home run of the ball game for the Jays, and they now have a 6-4 lead. Smoke hits this one high and deep to left. That's going to hang up. Jeanette is there, makes the catch in front of the warning track. That's the first out of the inning.
Just missed that one. They tried to go inside and missed.
Roberto Osuna got up as soon as this inning began. Joe Smith is the pitcher of record for the Blue Jays. Smith had a super inning, coming in with a leadoff double and stranded Schebler at third base. Loop gave up the double to Schebler. Smith came in, struck out Mesoraco, gave up an infield hit, but then got Hamilton to fly out to end the inning. Russell Martin 1 for 2 with a walk. Russell homered in the 4th, part of that 3-homer inning. Another pitch inside.
Boy, he's having good at bats. Long at bats. That's a trademark of Russell Martin. Hitting a lot of pitches, seeing a lot of pitches, and then once you start to get locked in, start hitting the ball hard.
Sharply hit to the shortstop. Cozart throws Martin out, 2 away. Kendrys Morales, that was his 10th home run. 6 of his home runs have been with men on base. His first home run of the season was a grand slam home run against Blake Snell. He's done such a terrific job of delivering big hits. He's had 2 3-run homers, and now 3 2-run homers and a grand slam. Troy Tulowitzki, officially 0 for 2, got hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. 6 runs on 7 hits for the Blue Jays. Tulowitzki's had a terrific game in the field tonight. He has picked it all over the place.
Tell you what, that might be the star of the game if the Blue Jays can hold on and win this. The defense, the run prevention.
You start with Tulowitzki. He made a great play on Scott Schebler in the 3rd inning to end that inning. Russell Martin caught Billy Hamilton trying to steal 3rd with nobody out and 2 on. And then Ezekiel Carrera made a terrific diving catch to rob Adam Duvall of a hit. Defense has been on their toes tonight. 1-2. Tulowitzki's behind. Fouls off that pitch. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th. Tough part of the order for Cincinnati. Zack Cozart, Joey Votto, and Adam Duvall. But the Reds trail by 2. Changeup, and Tulowitzki strikes out, but the Blue Jays get 2 big runs here in the 8th. Jose Bautista led it off with a single. Morales hits a 2-run home run. Osuna will come on. The Blue Jays' big bats have been booming tonight. This is number 10 for Kendrys Morales. That gives the Blue Jays the lead. Has racked up 9 saves so far this season, and he got up to a little bit of a slow start, but everything is right in Osuna's world right now. This will be his 21st game of the season.
He last worked a couple of days ago, also picked up that save, that 9th save. He's on a nice little roll right now himself. You mentioned he got off to a slow start where he started the year on the disabled list. He's got that fastball back, got a little bit of a wrinkle now. He's starting to use that cutter just a little bit more. And if he gets a save tonight, he's going to have to earn it because he's got the best hitters coming up for the Reds.
Cozart, Votto, and Duvall. Zack Cozart, 2 home runs tonight, 2 walks. He has stretched out his games reaching base streak to 22 straight. There's that cutter just off the plate, a ball on the strike.
Votto's had a couple of days off after that save against Texas, so he should be feeling pretty good.
Cozart pops it up into shallow center. Pilar's going to get there. He calls for it and makes the catch. 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carly Agro and Ken Reed. Thank you very much, Carly. That's all coming up right after this ball game. Joey Votto fouls back the first pitch.
This is the Cincinnati Reds' first look at Roberto Osuna and everything that he has to offer. So Votto wasn't waiting around. He got that first pitch fastball and he was swinging away.
Fastball upstairs. 1-1. That may have been a cutter that didn't break.
Yeah,
only 91.
When you see 90, 91 miles an hour with a little movement, that's his new cutter. You can rush that 4-seamer up there at 95 or 96.
Votto hits it right to Tulowitzki. 2 up, 2 down. Reds down to their final out.
Good usage of the cutter right there against a good hitter. It looks like a fastball coming in. You start to swing and then you end up fighting it off your hands. Votto just couldn't get extended there.
Adam Duvall 1 for 4 tonight. The Reds have stranded 9 base runners. We had mentioned the Blue Jays came into this game with one of the best percentages of stranding base runners with 2 outs. They've done a good job tonight. Osuna jumps ahead of Duvall. Two balls and a strike. There have been 7 home runs hit in this game. Blue Jays have the upper hand. They've hit 4. 95 upstairs.
That's the pitch that was missing earlier when he came back off the disabled list. And now he can get up there with that big heater.
That'll do it. Osuna strikes out Duvall. He retires to side.